So won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, oh yeah, redemption song.
The exclusion process is not a fair process for the young people involved. Much of it depends on the attitude of individual schools, individual head teachers, and when they come to independent appeal panels, the attitudes of the people on those panels. It's absolutely an unjust system. We've seen a huge overrepresentation of children from ethnic minorities. We have witnessed institutional racism, and we've seen far too children with special educational needs being put out of school, and again, very often unofficially.
We have now about 330,000 fixed term exclusions. A child can be excluded in 1 year or in one term of 1 year for 45 days. We have about 320,000 of those in 1 year, each one averaging 3.5 days. So through fixed term exclusions, we miss 1.25 million school days. Again, we've got children out of school.
Getting schools to understand that it is not always the best strategy. In fact, the more I've done this role, the more convinced I am that exclusion doesn't work at all. It just really doesn't work. Sometimes we're just displacing the behaviour and the problem to another location where it still needs to be dealt with. There's a false economy going on there.
When I used exclusion in my school, it was to say, no, you can't behave in that way. I like you, and I think you're a nice child, but your behaviour was wrong. But when the child comes back into the school, they should be supported in a way that they can engage in the curriculum. And there lies the major thing we need to do as schools. Some children actually misbehave because they can't engage in the curriculum, because they're not being looked out for. So there are some children I've not excluded because I felt that we weren't doing enough to engage them.
The roots of the type of behaviour which leads to exclusion are really in primary school. A lot of these issues start in primary school, and we need to get better quality, more culturally literate teachers into our primary schools that can actually work with the children and empower the children so they don't manifest the type of behaviour in secondary school which leads them to being excluded. If it does come to a child being excluded, they're not just turned out onto the street, but actually the provision and the support to get them back into mainstream school should be there. It was a former director of the prison service who said, on the day you exclude a child permanently from school, you might as well give them a date and time to turn up at prison. Research has shown that black children are more likely to be excluded than white children for the very same offence. And these are the attitudes in teachers that we have to challenge. We have to challenge them not just at secondary level, but at primary level, even at nursery level.
The history of race in education suggests that racism saturates every single aspect of the education system. Sometimes the racism is crude and obvious. Sometimes it's subtle. It's written through the design of the assessment itself. It's written through the curriculum. It's written through the very means by which the statistics are gathered, which explain why certain groups just can't achieve.
We have the skills, ladies and gentlemen. We have the knowledge, we have the love, but most of all, we have the need to make our children great.
And we do need more support for the parents of excluded children, and that's why organisations like CN are so important.
'Cause all